Run, river, run, run through the hills. Run, river, run to the sea. Run, river, run to your place beneath the sun. Run, river, run.
Jan Lewis, welcome to be my guest today. We have Michelle Antinarelli, and she is running for selectman. She's a candidate for selectman here in Upton. Welcome, Michelle.
Thank you.
Now, you are running, your running opponent is Brett Simus, and he has been on with us, too.
He's a lovely gentleman.
Yes, he has been on. Now, are you originally from Upton, Michelle?
I'm not. I'm originally from Bellingham, and we were married, my husband and I, in Milford, and we moved to Upton 20 years ago.
Oh, so you've been here a long time.
Well, 20
That's
years.
good.
Yeah.
I know. I was basically in Whitensville, Grafton, and then we moved here in 2008.
Okay.
So 10 years. So you're double as long as I've been here.
So we moved here because we wanted the rural environment. We wanted a small community. We raised our two daughters here. They're both young adults now. I shouldn't say their ages, but 25 and 22.
My son is 25.
Oh, I lied. 25 and 23.
You've got a couple of millennials.
Yeah, right.
Aren't they fun?
It's been wonderful. We are
Yeah.
so fortunate, Steve
Yeah.
and I. We're fortunate with our girls. We're fortunate that we raised them where we did, and that we had so many good people around us. We've avoided any of the drug addictions, which is just luck.
Yes.
When I look at how many kids are just snagged by that, that's so horrifying to me. We've made this our home. We plan to, as I keep saying to everybody, we're going to retire and expire right here on South Street.
Oh, that's a good way to put it.
And our daughters are building homes just around the corner from us. My husband's mother lives across the pond from us. So this is our home. This is where we're going to stay.
So you're on South Street?
I'm on South Street.
You're on
Yeah.
Street. Now, do you ever get to our beautiful town beach here in Upton?
Kiwanis Beach. Oh, I was in heaven. So I was talking to one of my neighbors, and she said, "What beach did you go to when you were little?" And it was one over in Hopkinton.
Yeah.
But she said, "Oh, we used to go to the Cape." And I'm like,
I know.
"Oh no!" So when we moved in and we saw Kiwanis Beach, we're like, "Oh, it's it just brought me back to what it was
It's
like
close.
when I was a kid."
So now, if you were on as a selectman, Michelle, what would you like to see? Some of your visions and changes. What would you be in favor of?
So, that's a wonderful question, and I've really been thinking about why I'm running. And I'm running because across the lifespan, I see, the demographics here in Upton, and we need to be prepared. Steve and I are aging. I hate to admit that, but, we want to be able to enjoy recreation. We want to be able to access our town services. We want to be able to be part of our community and be active and age in place. And at the same time, my girls are living here, presumably.
Yep.
Animal grandchildren or people grandchildren. I expect probably both.
Yep.
And so the school systems need to remain strong. We have great school systems here in Upton, Mendon, Upton. So we want to see that quality continue. And I really love this rural atmosphere. I love the community. I just want to see that, persevere and stay. So one of the things I'm really looking at is looking at how we can integrate programs between different disciplines and sort of save money, because big thing, you've watched your taxes go up, right?
Oh, yeah.
So here's scary. When we moved in 1999, the tax rate was 12.26%, I believe. And in 20 years, it's gone up 50%.
Yeah.
Well, we haven't gotten more town services. We've just had more people enjoying the same town services, although the quality has definitely improved and become far more cutting edge, which, is part of the global education. So, how are we going to continue expanding our community without driving the taxes up another 50%?
Yeah.
And that's only, I'm not even talking about the valuation of our home. So I think we have to do better with less. And one of the ways to do that is to cross-utilize resources. We have resources for kids with special education in the schools, and we don't have places for them to move in the community. We have people who are elderly, and they don't have access to things like grocery shopping. So why aren't we merging those two programs?
Are you thinking about maybe, the vacancy up here? You know where that church is? They used to
Right.
really... What would you like to do? I know that's going to come up probably at the town meeting. What would you like to see happen?
No. So I really think it has to be a multi-use. I'm not really sure what I see that being, but it has to be multi-use. I know we look at the library and we're struggling to make that work for our residents, but we also, biggest question I have is, do we really need a big town library that has tons of books, or are we looking for services for people that don't have access to computers at home or don't have access to internet at home and need help filling out forms and filling out job applications? And so a community center is sort of one of the things that I think we really need to look at using, so that we're making use of one building or one facility for multiple parts of our population.
That's an interesting one. Yeah.
So
That's not really. And a lot of people have all these plans. I know that some people are thinking of a big town common up there.
Mm-hmm.
That's great, and I love nature. But I'm thinking, can't we create a win-win where we have, okay, town common, use some space there, but also that's a good idea about a community center. But we also, it's obvious, we need a bigger library.
Mm-hmm.
So if we could combine all the resources together. And maybe bring a little revenue into this town so that we all don't get stuck with.
Well, that's key, right?
Yeah.
So that's exactly what I've sort of been doing over the past several years, is looking at programming that serves a need in human resources and human services, but also has a product that makes it self-supporting.
That's really good. Were you like this in school? Were you like in the school politics?
No, I really wasn't.
No.
So I was very shy. I still think I'm pretty shy.
You were shy?
I was very shy.
Huh.
Yes. I'm still very shy. A lot of people know my husband, Steve from Plains Auto. They know him because he talks to everybody. He knows everybody. He's like Santa Claus.
Plains
Automotive is in Milford.
Okay, on 140.
Right.
Is that the one with the funny little automobile up on top, or no?
It used to have an actual plane
Yeah.
on it. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All
Yes.
right.
So that's Steve, and I used to call him the mayor because we'd go anywhere. We'd go to Aruba right after we got married, and we see people down there that he knows. We'd go to Hawaii. Not that we did a lot of traveling, but before we had kids, we did more. And he'd walk up to somebody and they'd be, "Hi, how are you, Steve?" And I was like, oh, just kind of quiet in the background. So no, I didn't really get into advocacy is what I'm really looking at now. I didn't really get into that until after I went back to school when the kids were older and in school. And I went back to working with adults at that time with visual impairments and blindness, some of whom, or most of whom, had intellectual disabilities as well and physical disabilities. And I found my voice speaking for other people.
Right.
So you can say anything or do anything about me, but my goodness, don't touch my people because you're going to get the tigress.
Well, we were talking, I think Brett and I, we were talking about, I see this as a big thing. People are selling, just because of the market, I don't know how long it's going to last, but there aren't that many houses, but the ones that are going for like 50 or 100 grand over what they really, come on, were selling before. So that's all nice, and you get a nice sum of money. But then what happens if the house you want, you can't afford it?
Mm-hmm.
So people also want to stay in this town. There are seniors who will sell their homes, but they want to stay in this town. But there's only maybe a couple of condominium complexes that, the HOA, not so hot. Now, if you want to get a small little house, good luck finding one, a little downsizing one. What do we do? What do you think about housing I don't think we're going to have enough, because the Gen Xers, the baby boomers, coming up. And the parents are still alive in the greatest generation. What are we going to do?
So that's exactly, when I say we're going to retire and expire. Hopefully, Steve and I can do it in our house, but we have a very old house.
Hopefully you're going to make it, yeah.
It's big. It's not particularly accessible. In fact, it's counter-accessible, if you want to put it that way. So, that's exactly what we're looking at for our own needs. So that's exactly what I think the town really needs to do. And have we been... I can't impugn anybody and say they haven't done it or they have done it. I don't know. Have we been looking at that in the long term? I know that Brett referenced the master plan from 2005, and I do agree that it's time that needs to be revised.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
But they did do strategic planning for leadership just 2014.
Yeah.
So it isn't like, nobody's been paying attention to where we are and where we need to go.
Yeah.
They absolutely have. Do I see some ideas that came out of that haven't come to fruition? Absolutely. You have to, pick your priority at any given time.
Yeah.
But certainly housing for people, not just people who are aging, but people with disabilities that maybe aren't related to aging.
Yeah.
And people, we just have so many more people that don't fit into your typical category anymore.
Yes.
So more than 20% of the U.S. population identifies as disabled.
Mm.
That's a lot of people.
Mentally as well as physically.
Right, right.
So we have both.
So we need to be looking at universal design. So rather than saying, housing for the elderly, I say we need to look at universal design in housing that will support elders, that will support people with disabilities, that will support young families that can't afford some of these other houses. So that's key.
And we're going to need more and more.
Yes.
We really are, because
Yes,
people,
because we're
I mean,
staying
you check
alive
the
longer,
obituaries
right?
late, 102.
Wow.
90-something.
Wow, yeah.
It's way up. This isn't our parents' world anymore.
No, it's not.
No, I mean, I love it. I mean, I'm seeing this lady 102, and nowadays it's like, okay, that's the way it is now. It's great.
Right.
Unfortunately, I do see on these slide ends, sometimes you'll see people passing in 50s
Mhm.
and 60s. You're like, wow. But then again, you see these ones who are living longer, so we're trying to think ahead. What's going to happen with our children? I mean, how are they going to go on? They're going to need this too.
Right. And with Social Security being pushed sort of farther and farther along, maybe they're not retiring till 90.
Michelle, how can people get a hold of you?
So I created an email, which is Michelle, number 4, at Michelle4Upton at charter.net. And that's 2 L's of Michelle. So
Yeah.
Michelle, number 4, Upton at charter.net.
Michelle, if you had one particular thing that if you could get them to agree to one big thing, what would that be here in town?
So one of the key things that I really want to see is more engagement from the community. And I've been pretty passive and quiet in this community, sort of working in a different community with people who are blind and visually impaired and who have additional disabilities. And I've been a strong voice for that. And we see the same thing that I see here, which is the same people sort of being recycled, maybe changing committees, maybe. But there's a very small group of people doing all of the work.
Yeah.
So I really see a need for greater engagement.
Yep.
So whatever we can do to promote that.
Maybe more committees?
Well, so that's
More
a
councils?
double-edged sword, right?
Voluntary, right?
I think it's better management and better descriptions of what's available and what you can do. So somebody on Facebook, Debbie Antinarelli, I think, recently posted on Facebook to the Mendon Upton moms and dads, about all the positions that were open on all these different boards and committees, and said you can request to be appointed. And I'm like, that's great. But that only went to the people that are part of that group.
Right.
So I think a key thing we really need to look at is how we communicate with the people in this community.
I think you're looking at the big picture. You're including everybody, which is great.
Right.
Yeah.
So and everybody can do a little thing. I mean, if you can't serve on a committee, then maybe you can, type up the notes. Or maybe if
Yep.
you can't serve on the committee, maybe you can go with somebody on the committee and provide a second set of eyes for one little piece of it. And there are different times in our lives where we're more available and less available, and I respect that.
Yeah. Do you work outside the home?
So I do. I did it when the kids were little, which offers a whole different dynamic, right, for people who are at home, whether it's the mom or the dad. And then when the girls were both in school full time, I went back and got advanced degrees. So I've been working outside the home part-time to full-time.
What do you do? What kind of work?
So I'm an orientation and mobility specialist, which is somebody that teaches people who are blind and visually impaired how to travel.
Yeah.
Some people use canes, some people use walkers, some people use a little bit of good luck, which is not really what I advocate for. But
Do you work for MAB in Worcester?
so I did work for
I
MAB years
volunteered
ago.
for them.
Okay.
Yeah.
I worked for MAB when they were in Watertown.
That's the Massachusetts Association for the Blind.
Right,
I
now-
volunteered for a few years.
Okay, what were you?
It was
a
over in
reader?
Grafton. There was a gentleman that needed somebody to
Okay.
get him out. He was legally blind, still not that old or anything, but he just needed some help, and so he actually became part of our family for a few years. But that's how I went over and got my little orientation, and off we went.
That's so awesome. I mean, that's when I think of the level of trust that person had, having you come into his home and all the things that he just couldn't do or see that you had to provide, for
He
him.
didn't have much of a family. He didn't have any family life, basically. People visiting him that much, no. So basically, when my son was still young, he just come along with us. I want to come, so you want to come along, and that was it.
So I teach travel skills. So hopefully that person who's a little more isolated learns skills to be able to travel out in the community. I work now in school systems, so I work with kids.
Which schools are you in?
I'm actually an employee at the Lexington Public Schools.
Wow, you got a bit of a commute.
I do have a bit, but you know what? It's an opportunity to listen to books on tape, so that's a blessing, actually. But I also, prior to being employed with them, I worked as a private contractor for many schools, like all over central and eastern Massachusetts. So I had a commute all day, if you will, because I would be going from school to school, from town to town. So I ran my own business.
Yeah.
So I have that small business experience.
You're an entrepreneur.
Well,
in a way.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And then I also worked at the Carroll Center for the Blind. I was the director of education and
Where's
community
that?
services. That's in Newton.
The Carroll Center.
The Carroll Center.
Is there
for
a
the Blind.
Perkins?
Perkins School for the Blind? It basically serves kids up to age 22.
Where are they now?
Perkins is in Watertown, and the Carroll Center is in Newton.
Okay.
So the Carroll Center has an itinerant workforce, which is part of what I was supervising and managing, that goes to the schools basically as those contracting, like I described to you, like I was doing. And then they also work with adults that have a residential placement. So somebody who lost their vision later in life, they would go and stay there for anywhere from 12 to 20 weeks and learn skills, everything from cooking to fencing to
You enjoy
skills.
it. You can tell that Michelle really enjoys what she's doing.
Well, you know, I'm very lucky. I just it's the dream job, right?
Yeah.
Because you make a difference in somebody's life every day.
Did you, when you left high school, did you know what you wanted to do?
Absolutely not. I was my undergrad is biomedical science. I thought I was going to be in a laboratory testing, funky things, but
Where'd you go to college?
Framingham State.
I went to Plymouth State. There you go.
Okay. So.
Yeah, that's a good school, Framingham. I know that when you're on Route 9, and a friend of mine used to teach me, look up, and that's a, you get off at, what's the street there? You can see one of the dorms.
Yeah.
What is that? Oh.
It's, well, on the other end, it's called State Street, but that's not what it is.
It's right up on Route 9.
Oh. It's huge now. I mean,
Yeah.
since in 20 years, the campus has just been completely expanded. They have a lot more programs. They're called a university now. Back then, it was just a college.
Exactly. When did they start doing that? About 10 years ago, maybe?
I'm not really sure.
Because I saw, it's now Plymouth State University. Oh, okay, it used to be PSC, Plymouth State College back then.
Yeah.
So again, we're talking with Michelle Antinarelli.
You got it.
Got it.
You got it.
And she is running for selectman. And we have, the elections are coming up, what day?
May 15th.
May 15th. You're going to be speaking at the town hall, too, aren't you?
At the candidates night, which is May 10th. And actually, that's going to be, I think, at the fire department.
Yeah.
I think you might have pointed out the
Somebody said it was going to be in it's called the Little Town Hall, in our big town hall building. The big room has lousy acoustics. I mean, I know I hosted it there one time, and it was like, people on TV are like, what? And then even if you're there, what? So even the Little Town Hall, that's good, but then someone said it might be too small, so maybe they will be moving it. Who knows? I don't know.
I think the last email I got said it would be at the fire department.
But I can't think of a room there that would be big enough. Of course, I only know the upstairs. Maybe they have a very large, I don't know. Maybe the conference room we used to broadcast from is not that large. I don't think it's as big as the, I may be wrong, but it doesn't think it's as big as that little town hall room across the street. Well, anyway, you're going to be there.
I'm going to be there. Yes.
You're going to be there. Will your
yes.
family be there? Cheer you on?
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so.
So we have a town meeting coming up this week, too.
Yes, we do.
Oh, yeah, but Brett said, yep. I said, will you be speaking? He goes, no, I guess you folks have to kind of just sit and watch and learn, right?
Well, we have so much to learn, so I'm content with that role.
Yeah, I think that'll be
at
great.
At that meeting. They have a lot to go over.
Yeah.
I mean, looking at the town budget, a tremendous amount of work was put into that document, and I think it's much more transparent and clear how our money is being spent, which is, a huge kudos to the selectmen now and the finance committee. So that's great. As people look at it, I think they should appreciate that.
Things we've talked about, things that you'd like to see done. Is there anything you'd like to see wiped out?
Oh gosh, I wouldn't dare go there.
Go for it. This is a free country.
Well, no, I said I wouldn't dare go there because I guess I'm not informed enough to say that, that's not serving the purpose it was supposed to.
Yeah. It's okay, though, because see, there's things that I think a lot of us think, like, why do we have that? Or could we do more with what that is not doing?
Well, that's exactly my focus is we have so many programs and we have so many resources, and can we marry some of those? Can we connect those?
Bring them all together. Like I said, a win-win type of thing.
Right.
We've got this beautiful old Holy Angels Church sitting over there doing nothing. And I'm sure that the people like the wonderful Nevermind store and all that along there could use maybe a more updated area. It'd be great for their stores. So we could have then squash in a bigger town common, put it all kind of together, and everybody wins. I mean, really.
I mean, we have so many needs.
Yeah.
So definitely, revitalizing the downtown, I guess you would call it.
What do you think? Do you think that'll go well? You think people really would like to?
Well, I actually talked to a couple of people today, and they're like, "Wait a minute, who's going to pay for that, and how's that going to happen?" So, so I think some people are sort of like, "Let's freeze right now and not move forward on some of these bigger projects."
Who would pay? Would our taxes go up if we do that?
Well, again, it kind of depends on how it's done. I know one proposal is that they're looking to sell it to a builder who would build to our specifications what we want in there, but they would own the property and collect rents or whatever. So conceivably we wouldn't end up paying for that piece. But, if that's not the way it goes, or how much does it cost us to support something like that? What's going to happen with water and infrastructure in order to support that kind of a development. So
Yeah, the little things that a lot of times we don't think about.
Right.
The things are like, gee, I forgot all about that. But if you had, let's say, I hate the word landlord, but somebody who owns the property, collecting the rent, they still have to pay taxes, though, don't they?
They do.
So the rent might be a little steep, but then look what you're getting. I mean, you could go like this all night.
Well, so that's where we need the proposals, right?
Exactly.
So.
Michelle, how again can they get a hold of you?
So it's Michelle, number 4, Upton, @charter.net. And I've gotten some questions already, which is fantastic.
This is good. That people are coming up to you and talking to you.
We do that stumping, right? We walk around with the signs down by the coffee shops on Saturdays. But also, no, people have actually, they saw some advertising in the Upton Town Crier, and they connected with me that way because I had the email there. So
that's good.
And, like I'm kind of the shy person, so a lot of people are like, oh, is that Steve's wife? She's always so quiet.
How long has Steve been doing the car place?
Oh, he's over 30 years. So,
wow.
So he's been in business a while.
Does he do all car repair?
Yes, and he does some body repair.
Yeah.
And but he also does a lot of side jobs. He's the busiest person I know.
Plains Motors. I mean, at first I thought that he did just foreign motors. It's not that. It's not that one.
No.
Okay,
It's across from the Tradesman on 140.
Okay.
So it's automotive.
Is it near the Kellys, the farm?
No, it's in Milford. It's in Milford.
It's up further on 140.
Yeah, right. Yeah, just.
Okay, so I know I've probably gone by it still zillion amount of times. That's great that you two that you've got that going and that you're going to run this. Again, we've been talking with Michelle Antinarelli, and she is going to be running for selectman here at Upton. Come to the town meeting this Thursday night, 7 o'clock, and you'll learn a lot of things. And, of course, she'll be there, and Brett Simons will be there, and everybody who's interested will be there. And then on what day, again, will you be speaking at the open?
So Candidates Night is May 10th.
Mm-hmm.
That will also be televised. Yeah. And we think it's at the fire department, but...
Check and see.
Yeah.
Call the town hall and make sure.
Now they're going to be bamboozled with calls.
They'll find out for sure, and you'll know where you're going to go. You'll do just fine. You both will. It's been a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you.
All right.
This is great. I'm looking forward to looking at all the different shows that I was catching on the YouTube.
It's good. Do you have any hobbies that you do that you love?
So I love to read. I love to do scrapbooking. So I do a lot of things like that. We also have animals. We have horses and goats.
Oh.
So we have the animal thing going along.
Wow. I think you have a big area then, a big yard.
So we're right on the corner of South Street and Chestnut Street.
Okay.
So there's a pretty good sized property, but we have the miniature horses, so you don't need as much.
Okay. Are
room.
these mini horses? There's one in Grafton, just past the Grafton Flea Market. There's this horse boarding place. It's a mini horse that I keep looking at all the time I go by. In fact, I stopped by there one time. We were so curious. I haven't seen her in the last couple days. That's a mini horse. What's the next one up?
So there's ponies.
And then there's the mini. I heard that mini horses, and she looks like a love, but I heard that they could be very temperamental. Is that true?
So I think anytime you miniaturize a breed, you run a risk of intensifying, that defensiveness. Mini horses are very intelligent. I don't advocate for this, but they are used in some rural areas for guiding people who are blind and visually impaired. So that's terrific because they're intelligent. They live a long time, but they are a fight or flight animal, and most of the time it's flight. So
and she looks so peaceful raising over there.
So
she looks like a dog. I want to pet her.
Yeah. No, our two guys are pretty mellow. They've been in the same place there since 1999, and
so Michelle's an animal lover.
Yes.
That's very good.
Yes.
All right. Well, this has been great. I'm glad, and I wish you all the luck in the world, my friend.
Thank you.
All right, and we'll see you next time. I'll be my guest.
Thanks.